Hey guys, it is Johan and welcome back to another episode today. Hope you've had a wonderful weekend with your family and friends. And more importantly, guys, I'd like to say thank you very much for all the continued support we've been getting on Spotify and YouTube as well. The data is telling us that you're listening. And more importantly, the feedback that we're getting is absolutely sensational. So if you are watching this replay on YouTube, continue to like, subscribe, and share this content with some family and friends, because all I'm trying to do is build a large community full of positive people. So if you don't know, every week we do a private Clubhouse training session, and we have about 41 people registered every week, which is absolutely sensational. And we've been doing this for about a year and a half now. And when we did our recent Clubhouse training, we had one gentleman who opened up about certain things he's feeling in life. And I had a chat to him, not too long ago, and I said, can I actually mention this on today's episode? And he said, yep, please share the story, but just don't name my name. And I said, yep, absolutely, right. And basically this gentleman is 42, heading into a 43-year-old person. And he opened up through Clubhouse actually saying that he's not really happy with his life. He thought that he expected his life to turn out completely different, both on, financial relationships and, community, interacting with his children and all that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, he's not a happy camper right now. So as we dug deep in our conversations on Clubhouse, I really identified that, he had a mindset where he had all these high expectations in life, but unfortunately, he didn't have high standards in place to meet those needs. And I believe a lot of us face this problem every day and every week and every year, where we have high expectations in life, but we don't necessarily have the high standards in place to ensure we meet those expectations. And I'll give you an example shortly. So I believe that a lot of us live in high expectation reality, if you want to call it. And, we have these big dreams, big desires. But when was the last time we actually said, do we have the standards in place to ensure that we achieve those outcomes? And if you actually think about it, it makes sense. If you're in the current situation right now where you're not really happy, you're probably finding that you've got a lot of high expectations in your mind, but not necessarily the high standards in place. And I think a lot of us, and I used to be like this too, guys, where I would have high expectations on other people. And I don't think that is the right thing to do, because everyone operates on a different level. But it's important to have high standards within yourself. So I believe there are a difference between having high expectations and high standards. So high expectations is having that mindset that you've got certain goals and dreams that you want to achieve. You might want that beautiful car. You might want to have a few $1 million in the bank. You might want this glossy career. You might want that beautiful person in your life. But having high standards is something completely different. And just to make it more simple, having high standards is this. If your desired outcome is to have a good-looking body, a person with high standards will train every day, will eat right every day. If a person that has high expectations in terms of building a lot of wealth, they might not necessarily get there, right? But if you've got high standards in terms of saving every week, investing your money, going to seminars, networking with the right people, and if you start to set those high standards within your life, you've got a better chance in achieving your goals. If you're struggling with this at the moment, where you have a lot of high expectations in your life, I got a feeling right now that one of you guys is going to be able to make absolutely change within their life by changing their mindset from having high expectations to setting extreme standards within their life. So just to give you an example, right, guys, I'm 39 now. And in my early 20s, I had a lot of big dreams and goals. And I would probably honestly say where my dreams and goals are a lot more bigger now. But the difference from now to before was I expected a lot of things to happen, but I didn't have the work ethic in place, the mindset in place. the community in place, and also the courage and not so much ego to ask from help from other successful people. And I'm doing all these things now, and then I've started to realize after this particular conversation that, I've really put a lot of high standards in my life. So if you don't know my story, I think it was about 2.5 years ago. I remember going to my local doctor, and he said, Johan, I think you've actually got pretty much borderline type 2 diabetes. And my doctor said, would you like some medication to try and change the way you feel and act? And I thought, if I got myself into this mess by eating crap foods and not exercising, I'm going to do a completely change without taking medication. And I remember from that day on, I started running, and I went from literally running, 1 kilometer a day to almost, 40, 60 kilometers a week of running. And in the last year and a bit, I've been doing a lot more heavier weights. And even now, guys, like at 39, I feel a lot more fitter than I did when I was 25. I'm a lot more healthier because I've, implemented high standards within my life. I wake up at 4:45 every day, at the gym at 5. I'm drinking a lot of water. I'm training a lot, having my salt in my water as well. Doing a good 1 hour of heavy gym. I get home, I'll go for another 1 hour walk with my wife. And if you can implement these high standards within your life, you're going to achieve the desired outcomes in your life. So like right now, guys, I'm on this big project to accumulate as much properties as I can within a 10-year period. And I know that if I don't continue to change and upgrade my mindset, I'm not going to achieve those goals. So it's great that I have all these high expectations and dreams, but I've also got to follow it through with high standards in place. So some of the high standards in place that I'm doing while I'm trying to accumulate some property in my life is by associating myself with bank managers, mortgage brokers, buyer agents, and there's about 4 or 5 people in my life who have an abundant amount of properties in their life. So you've got to put yourself in a position where you've got to learn from that person or situation that you want to be in. And I think many of us, guys, we still struggle with that. It's great to have all these high expectations and needs and wants in your life, but you've got to have the high standards in place. And another thing we want to talk about is, I know a lot of you guys have a lot of high expectations on people, and I think it's very unfair to do that. Because if you've got high expectations on other people, but you don't have high standards within yourself, do you think you truly deserve that desired outcome? Like, be honest with yourself right now. So a classic example is this. I've got people that I always coach and I talk to who struggle within their career, but they want to earn, $200,000 a year, whatever the case may be. And the common theme that I hear from them is this, is that their current job, as an example, is not going to get them to that income. So if you're a school teacher and you're on like 70, 80 grand, it's going to be very hard for you to earn more than $200,000 a year. Most principals don't even earn that. But if you've got that expectations in your mind, you're going to be in trouble. If you've got these high expectations that the world owes it to you, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So when you've got high expectations, always have those high expectations on yourself. So my wife and I, we have high expectations on each other, and then we also have high expectations on a personal level as well. And when you're in a relationship, you can have high expectations on each other, but you've got to make sure that you're chasing the right dream and goal together as well. Because I've seen a lot of couples, unfortunately, break up because, one wants to go on a cruise every year where the other part of the, family wants to just relax at home. So you've got to really identify what those things are in your life as well. So if you're feeling downbeat, anxious, maybe you're not feeling worthy enough, I really want you to know that you are worthy in your life too, my friends. But what I'd like you guys to do is do this. Maybe lower your expectations in life. Have big dreams and goals, but lower the expectations. But create high standards within your life. And just before we close off, one of my best sales mentors taught me this. Companies will always say that we should always deliver high expectations and outcomes to our clients. The reality is no business ever does that. No one is ever going to be completely satisfied with what they receive. That is the truth, my friends, and I'm sure you're the same too. Have you ever bought that car that you really desired and only to drive it and 2 weeks later you think, it's just a car. So you might have been excited at that time, but not really fulfilled for the long term. So this episode has been absolutely amazing because I've had to do a lot of prep work, before we jump onto this, and that's setting a high standard on yourself, when you're preparing and all that. And it really got me thinking, what else can I do in my life to set more high standards for myself to, achieve the outcomes and expectations I've set in life. So I'm working on a couple of different projects at the moment, and, I've had this epiphany, even just by doing this, where I'm like, in order for me to get to this next level, I'm going to have to hang around with super duper cool people to get there. But it's absolutely amazing what we're doing, guys, because I feel like when I can give you guys some value at the same time, I'm learning something as well. So my friends, have an incredible week. Remain strong, remain positive. I really believe in you, my friends. And you deserve to have the best in your life, but also you deserve to set the high standards in your life. So take care and speak soon. And looking forward to dropping another episode during the week, guys. Speak soon. Bye.